Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this is day 4 of the Redis Zero to Hero series. So till now we have discussed what and why part of Redis, and also we have set up Docker instance of Redis on our machines and tried very basic commands like get set, right? And also we have set up the Java project in the last video and ran few of the tests for get set and increment decrement APIs. So in this video we will be going more deeper and learning more Redis commands and data structures using Redis CLI as well as Java application, both hand by hand. All right. So guys, for the few videos our focus would be on learning commands whatever available in Redis via raw Redisson library. Otherwise, I could have used Spring Data Redis directly in our project, and I can show you the demo, right? But that abstracts away all the things and people don't get to learn the basic commands and internals of it. So if you know the commands and internals, you can use Redis with any programming language, not only with Java. And that is my goal actually. So that is why we are digging more deeper and learning more commands and everything, whatever Redis provides, right? So, and just a quick reminder, if you have not subscribed yet, I would recommend doing that. In this series, we are going to solve real world problems with Redis step by step, just like it's done in production. So without wasting time, let's get started. So we have already used get and set command, right? But if our requirement is we want to see what all keys are available in Redis, right? So we will see all those commands, and similarly if we want to delete any key in Redis and how we can delete it and what are the best practices available for these operations. Now let's discuss how we can access all keys in Redis, right? So let's open the Redis CLI, right? We have already done the setup, right? So if you guys have any challenge or new subscribers are there, so kindly look at the day 2 of the Redis Zero to Hero series. There we have set up the complete instance from scratch, right? So this is my Redis and it's running fine. So what I'll do is I'll just go to the Redis instance, right? And I just need to type Redis CLI. That is it. That's it I need to provide, right? Now our requirement is we want to see what all keys are available in Redis. So for that the Redis provides the command is keys. Now if you see the keys, and then we need to provide the pattern. So pattern could be anything, whatever we use similar to regular expression, right? So for example, keys star. So if you see over there, so if you do key stars, you will see what all keys are available in Redis. So it has given you everything, but this command you can use it for debugging purposes, but don't use in the actual application or production, because it would provide you all the keys. So for example, if you have million keys in the Redis, so it will give you million keys. As you know, Redis runs one command at a time. There is a single loop which runs every command, right? So when this command is getting run, so all the other operations, all the other application operations gets halted, right? So due to this, we don't run this command in the actual production, because in actual production there could be millions of keys available in Redis. So for that there is a different command which I will be covering in some time, right? So for example, now let's see if you want to see the keys related to student, right? So what you can do is keys student star. So if you see this time it has given only one key, right? That's how you can see the different keys available in Redis with this command. Now as I told you that there is this command should not be used in the actual production. Now what is the command which can be used in the application or the production, right? So for that the command is scan, right? So if you see the scan, and it provides the different things, the cursor, match pattern. So we'll discuss each and everything for this command, right? So if I do scan 0, right? So it has given me all the keys, right? Now you will ask, okay, so if this is also giving all the keys, what is the real difference between this command and earlier command? Okay, so both are same, right, according to this, right? But in scan command there is some kind of pagination involved. So what I'll do to demonstrate better, so I'll create, let's say, 20 to 25 keys, so that we can have clear demonstration what is the real difference between scan and keys command. So what I'll be doing, I will be creating 20 to 25 keys, right? So let me create that. Show colon 2 colon seats 2. Let's say these are the just hypothetical numbers. Actually the seat numbers could be anything, but these are just the hypothetical numbers. I'm just creating the keys just to demonstrate you the difference between keys and the scan command. So I have created 22 keys for the 22 different keys, right, for the seat, for the show colon show ID colon seats. Now let's run the different commands, right? Let's run key star command first, right? So if you see the key star command, it has given all the keys whatever available in Redis, right? Now if I run scan 0 command, right? So if I run scan 0 command, right, so what it will give, it will just give me the 10 keys at a moment. So there is some kind of pagination involved. So what is this on the first index? Let me clear this, right? Let me run again scan 0. And what is this on the first index? So this gives actually the random number which specifies what is the next page, next cursor, right? So if you do scan 1, so it would show the keys on the next page, right? So if you do scan 23, because this is the page, this is the next page, so if you do that, so it would give all the other keys, right? Now as soon as you get the page number or the hash of the page as 0, so it means all the keys are iterated, there are no further keys available, right? So that is what it specifies. 0 specifies on the first index, right? So now let me clear this. Now our requirement is, let's say we want to do some pattern matching with the scan command itself. So what you can do is, for example, scan 0 match. If you want to just see all the show related keys, you can just do show star, right? So if you do that, it would give you only the show keys, right? So it would give you only the show keys. Now if you have observed, it is just giving less keys. Earlier it was giving 10 keys, but now it has given me 9 keys. Although the show keys are available close to more than 20, there are 22 show keys available which we have just created. Actually what Redis does is, it just gives the keys whatever available onto the first page. So earlier on the first page there were 10 keys. Out of show keys there was one student related key as well, right? So it has excluded that key and just give the show related keys, right? So that is why it has given 9 keys, right? So let's do scan 1, right, because the next page reference is 1. So if I again do scan 1 match show star, so if you do, it has only given me the show related seats. Now again let's do scan 23, right, because the next page is 23. So if you do scan 23 match show star, right, so it has given me the rest of the seats. But in all these keys, if you see, there are no further keys have been shown which we have created other than show keys. So that is how we can do the pattern matching. Now let's say our requirement is, we want to just fetch the limited number of keys with the pattern. For example, scan 0 match show star, and let's say our requirement is count 2. So what it will give is, what it will do is, it will just give 2 keys at the moment. Now if you see, it is just giving 1 key in this, but I have already explained why it is giving that, because out of first 2 keys there was one different key other than show. So what pattern matching has done, it has just excluded that other key and just given the show related keys. Now similar thing what we can do is scan 20, let's say match show star count 2. So if you see, it is giving 2 show related keys. right? So this is the actual command you can use in production. Now let's try these commands in our Java application. So this was our IntelliJ, and this project we have already set up. So if you guys are new and you're looking at this on very first time, you can probably refer the day 3 of the Redis Zero to Hero series, where we have just created this brand project from scratch, and I have explained each and every step how we can create this project. Right now, let's say I will create to access all keys. Let's say I'll just create one new class, all keys test. Let's say this is my class, right? And I will extend this as a base class, base test, right? So what I will do is public void all keys test. Let's say this is the class what I will be creating. Now in the base test we have already exposed the Redisson client, so we can just use that. Now what Redisson client has provided, it provides the get keys method. So if you do get keys, what it will provide is it will provide the Redis keys instance. Now with this keys we can iterate on all the keys available in Redis. So for that what we can do is keys dot get keys. Let's say this is the, so this would provide the iterable. So if you see over here, it provides the iterable so that we can iterate over the keys. Now what we can do is we can just iterate over this all keys, right? And we can just print out, right? We can just print out the whatever the key we have seen, right? So let's say the key, right? And let's give the new command, new line. So with this we have iterated over all the keys whatever available in Redis, we are just printing out all the keys. Now you would ask why we are using the key star command over here. So okay, let me explain you. Redisson never uses key star command behind the scenes. It actually uses the scan command. Let me show you what it do actually, right? So if you do the get keys, what it will do is, right? So if you see the command it will do is the scan, right? So the scan command it will run. So if you see the scan Redis command, scan is being running behind the scenes. I'll just verify from one more option. So what we can do is we can just type the monitor, right? So what it will do, it will just print out all the commands whatever being hit onto the Redis. So it is very useful for debugging purposes, what all commands for load testing kind of stuff, right? So what all commands have been hitting onto the Redis, right? Let's run this test and see how it works, right? So if you see, it is giving all the keys. Now let's see onto the Redis CLI. So if you see over here, it has firstly run scan 0 command, the similar command which we have already run. Then next time it has run scan 1 command. Then the next time it has run scan 23 command. So actually what is happening behind the scenes is, we have already seen the Redisson runs scan command behind the scenes. It runs scan command 3 times, right? And it is giving the results in a set of pages. So what Redisson provides, Redisson has abstracted away each and everything from us just for ease of use, right? So with this command we can get all the keys available in Redis. Now let's see how we can implement the pattern matching, right? So what I will do that for is I'll just create one more class, all test all keys with pattern, right? So for that what I need to do is I need to provide, let's say this is the keys, right? Earlier there was keys dot get keys by pattern. So but this is deprecated. So earlier there was method provided by get keys by pattern, right? Get keys stream by pattern, get keys with limit, right? So now this has been deprecated. So what Redisson does now is, so if you do keys dot star, so if you do get keys, right, so we can use this method where we can pass the different scan options. So if you do get keys, right, and here we can provide the different key scan options. For example, key scan params, right, and pattern. Let's say we want to see the all the show related keys. So for that, let's say this is my pattern, right? Let's assign this variable to show keys. Now with this, if we can run again, this time it would just return the show keys. So let's run this and see the output. Right now, this time if you see, it has just given me the show related keys, and on the Redis CLI, right, so if you see, it is running the same thing what we have tried on our console, right? Scan 0 match show star, scan 1 match show star, right? So the same thing Redisson also does behind the scenes. Now let's say you want to get the limited number of keys, right, with the count option. So what you can do is, for that, what we need to do is all keys with pattern and count. So if you see over here, right, so there is a limit. So in this we can provide the limit. Let's say the limit is 2. Let's say the limit is 2. So we just want 2 keys. So let's run this test, and if you see, now this time it has just provided the 2 keys, not all the keys, right? So that's how we can access all the keys whatever available in Redis via Redisson, right? Now let's discuss few more commands, the commands for how we can delete the key. Now let's open the Redis CLI again. Let's close this. So for delete, the simple command is the del, and we can provide any number of key over here. Let's see key star, what all keys are available first. Let's say I want to delete the order stream. Now what I will do is keys del then order stream. So what it will do is, it will just return the integer value as 1. So what it reflects is, it would give you the output as the number, how many number of keys affected. So if you do, for example, show 15 seeds, and if you do show 7 seeds, right, so this time it has given you the output as 2. So it just specifies how many keys are affected with this command, right? So let's run this the similar command with the Redisson. Or for this, what I can do is, I can just quickly create the different test class. Now why I'm doing this way, because later when I push all this code onto the GitHub, you can easily refer the different tests and the different patterns which we have already run. So that is why I'm just creating the different test classes for that. So before running the delete test, let's discuss few more commands. Sometimes there might be a requirement, you want to delete all the keys whatever available in Redis. So for that, there is a simple command, for example, the flush db, right? So what it will do is, it will just wipe off the complete keys whatever available in Redis. So it is a very dangerous command. Please do it or use it very cautiously, right? So if you do that, flush db, let me clear this, and if you do keys star now, so there is nothing. So nothing is available, everything is gone, right? So this command is very, very dangerous command, and it affects all the applications that are using Redis. But this is not the most recommended way to delete the keys, right? So the most recommended way to delete the key is, for example, you as a user logs in to the application, right? So for that, what we have done is, for example, we have created one token for you. For example, set user 1, right, and let's say Rahul, right, and we have created some token. Let's say this is the token which we have created on login of the application. Now when the user logs out, right, so with this there could be other things as well whatever have been created. For example, set user 1, let's say there could be Rahul, and it could be some other things. For example, a payment method, for example, let's say. Now if you do the key star, what all keys are available for Rahul, for user ID 1? So there are 2 keys. Now once the user logs out, Rahul logs out, what needs to be done? It means all the cache or all the keys related to this Rahul must be deleted. So this is the most recommended pattern which is being used in the production applications to delete the keys, right? So I would say for this, what you need to do is, for example, scan. So this is the pipe operator, right? So this is how you would like to delete, right? So the similar thing. So although this command never runs in Redis, but this is just for demonstration that what you need to run actually, on what pattern you need to run the delete keys. So with this is the most recommended way to delete the Redis keys. Now let's implement this pattern or this recommendation in our Java application. Let's say delete all keys, and what we can do is Redisson client dot get keys. So this is keys. What we need to do is keys dot say flush db. So if you do this, right, let's run this first, right? So if you see key star onto the Redis, right, so there is nothing available onto the Redis because everything has been wiped off, right? So that's how you can run from the application. There might be a requirement on application start, you want to restart or reload all the keys into the Redis instance if there is only single application which is using the Redis, right? So but usually the application related Redis keys are different, so for that as well you typically use the pattern. So let's do that pattern matching, right? What we can do is Redisson client dot get keys. What I said, we want to delete the keys only related to the pattern. So for example, once the user logs out, let's continue the same example only. Let's continue the same example only, right? And get keys by pattern, although this is decremented, but you know, right, what you need to use actually, right? So what you can do is user colon 1 colon star, right? So you want to delete all the keys, so what you can do is keys dot delete key, right? So let me create again the user keys. There are two user id 1 keys, one is the payment method, one is the access token, whatever we have created, right? Let's run this, right? So now this is the most safest way and most recommended way to delete the keys, because it could be possible that your application related keys could be different, and though only those application related keys should be deleted on startup, not all the keys, right? So what you can do is, if you do the keys star, so there is nothing, so all the user related keys are deleted. So what happens inside the Redisson is, as soon as you do the delete onto this keys instance, what happens is it invokes the network call onto the Redis and it just fires the delete command, right? So that is what it is running. So it is actually running, by the way, this delete user colon 1, for example, Rahul. First this key is been deleted, then it would run in the next iteration, it would run delete user 1 Rahul, then it would do the payment method, right? So it is deleting all the keys one by one. So for example, there could be requirement like your application startup. So on application startup, you would just want to delete all the keys related to the application, right? But it could be possible that your application related keys could be thousands or could be hundreds of thousands, right? It could be any number, right? So if there are 1,000 keys, there are 1,000 network calls would be made to delete that particular key. So it is bit slow, and it would also consume network bandwidth, and or also they are not atomic because you are running the keys one by one, right? So that is the problem actually. So it's a huge number of network calls which are being made to the Redis to delete all the keys, right? So what we can do that is, for this purpose we can do the batch delete. So in Redis, what we call that is a pipeline operation. So what we can do that is, let's run batch delete test. I will just do create batch. So what Redisson provides the batch, and in this batch what we need to do is we need to append all the commands whatever we want to run in this batch, right? So in this batch we just want to delete all the keys. Now we need to append the keys what needs to be deleted. So for that what it would do is it would provide the batch dot get keys. So it gets the keys instance, so our keys sync async instance, right? Now what we need to do is we need to get all the keys related to the pattern, right? So you get all the user ID 1 keys. Now what we need to do is we need to append these keys whatever we fetch into this keys, right? So for that what we need to do is keys dot delete async key, right? We create the Redisson batch. From the batch what operation we want to perform on this batch, we want to perform the operation related to the keys, right? So we created the batch dot get keys. Now what exact operation we want to perform, so that is the delete operation. So with this it has been appended onto this batch, right? Now once that is done, what we need to do is we can do batch dot execute. Now when we do this, the batch dot execute, it would actually invoke the network call, right? What all keys to be deleted, whatever we have added into this batch, right? Now if you do result, so let's say for each system dot out dot println. Now let's see there are no keys. Again let's create the user ID 1 keys, right? And let's create one more key related to user 2, right? User ID 2, and let's say this is Yummy, right? So this is user ID 2. Just want to show you the clear difference that it is just deleting the user ID 1, not the user ID 2, right? So let's run this test now, and if you see, so it has given me the output. Although the command is running one by one onto the Redis, actually it is running behind the scenes as a Lua script, which we will discuss later that how it is doing. But just for simplicity, just understand that it is just invoking one network call onto the Redis, but the Lua script and everything we will discuss later. I will cover in detail, right? So this is the most recommended way to for deleting the keys. Now let's say let me create one more test, the event listener test, right? The event listener test. Now let's create this public. If you do the key star, so there is user ID 2 is still there, right? But sometimes what happens is actually the application is running, right? But you have a requirement that someone other has deleted the keys, but this application should be notified, right? So this application should be notified for this particular key as and when this key is deleted, right? So for that what we need to do is we can do that operation as well. For example, get bucket, right, which we have already seen, and let's say for this key we want to monitor, right? We want to monitor whenever this key gets deleted, right? So we just provided this, and right, so let's assign the local variable. Okay, so this is by default object. So what we need to do is, as we have already discussed on to the day 3, right, how we can do that, we can provide the string, but this string might append the weird characters, so we need to use the serializer. So I would use string codec dot instance. So with this, right, so I would be using the string codec instance, so serializer has been used. Bucket dot get, I will do bucket dot get, right? So what it will give me, it will give me the value whatever have been there, right? So string value, so whatever value we have create in Redis, so it would give me just that value. Just say value from Redis is this. So this is done. But this Java application should be notified as and when this key is being deleted. So that is what our requirement is. So for that, what we need to do is, as an application, we need to add the listener, right? So this instance or this thread has to be registered with the Redis. So for that process, what we need to do is we need to add the listener, right? So what we can do is add delete listener. Let's say this is the requirement, right? So what I'll do is bucket dot add listener. So Redisson provides few of the listeners. So in this case, what we will do is delete object listener, right? So it provides the callback. So in this, what we need to do is we need to just call that particular method. So for example, your application might be created the local cache based on these keys. So as and when this key is deleted, the local cache has to be deleted or invalidated. But this is a callback. Who would invoke this callback? This callback would be invoked by the Redis once the key is deleted, right? But as and when we perform the test, the test would be over, so no callback we would receive. So for that, what we need to do is we need to do the sleep operation for some time. So for that, what I will do is I'll just create one sleep method here, right? And what I'll do is thread.sleep, simple, right? So we can call this method as protected, right? So here what we can use is we can use this sleep, right? And let's say we want to sleep for 60,000, right? 60,000 seconds. Now we are waiting, right? So once this callback is invoked, everything is done, we can safely remove the bucket dot, I will say bucket dot remove listener. And whenever we are doing the add listener, what it will do is it provides the listener ID. We can give this listener ID into this remove listener method. Now let's run this test once, right? So this test is running. Let's delete this key, right? So if we delete this key, so if you see over here, we got this callback, right? So this callback would be invoked by whom? This callback would be invoked by the Redis server, right? As soon as this key is deleted, and we got the callbacks, right? So let's discuss few of the best practices which we already discussed in our this video, right? So we already discussed that we don't need to use Redis key star in the production because of the obvious reasons. It blocks the Redis, it can freeze the server, and also if there are million keys, there would be order of n memory and plus the CPU consumption. So Redisson never uses key star unless it is explicitly forced, right? And also don't use flush db command until you really want to wipe the db, because of the obvious reasons. It also deletes everything. It affects all the applications that runs Redis instance. The recommended way to delete the keys is by pattern. For example, as we discussed, once the user logs out, you just want to delete all the keys related to the user. And once the application on boot up, you want to delete all the keys related to the application. So for that, you can think of it like this. This is the kind of regular expression. Think of it like this. And with this, you can implement in Redisson, right? Now, the next thing which we already discussed, that as and when we are doing the delete operation, so there is one network call which is being made onto this Redis server. So to prevent that, to avoid n network calls, delete in batches. So it is much faster for larger key sets, right? So for that, what we can do is we can create the batch. What kind of operation we want to perform in the batch? We want to perform the operation related to the keys. So we need to get the keys. Now this keys has to be appended into the which operation? So the exact operation is delete. So we need to just append this key into that delete operation. And at the end, we just need to execute the batch. So that was all I had planned for today. If this video really helped you, hit like, subscribe for the Redis series, share it across with your team, and drop a comment with your questions or use cases. I'll see you in the next video. In the next video, we will dig more deeper into the Redis, learn more data structures, commands, and we will code the real world use cases as well. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.